Rain plays spoil sport at Rawalpindi once again. Australia, South Africa was washed out, and now Pakistan, Bangladesh is washed out. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami and I have the OGs with me. They've gone nowhere. They've entertained me all through. Welcome back, Joyda and Harsha. Always good to have you all entertain me all day, but cricket was not very entertaining at all. We didn't see any cricket at all.
I'm a little surprised they call it off so quickly. Obviously, it's sport. The heavens must have opened. But you have about 3.5 hours before you can call it off. Look, I think cutoff was around 8 o'clock. Groundsman says 1.5 hours. You got up to 6:30. You can work on it. You can start working about 6:30. So they've called it off so early. So either it means that it's rained so much and there's much more coming on the radar, or it means it's not raining well enough. Because it's very, very early to call off a game like this.
But we saw pools of water, Joy, though. Even in the outfield, they were just walking and they were stomping water everywhere.
So the fear was it's not going down.
But it's just the Champions Trophy is so short, and then you have two washed out games. It just...
Yeah, and both these teams would have loved to have one win, finish this tournament on a high, because both these teams are, mentally not in the right place. This was an important match for them. So it's a pity, it's been called out. But there must be some very compelling reasons, because I think the match referee and the umpires wouldn't have taken a call like this otherwise.
You feel for the fans also.
Yes.
A lot of times we look at Pakistan cricket. We've had a long conversation about Pakistan cricket. But their fans are so much in love with the game. They back their side. For them, a Champions Trophy coming to Pakistan was huge. It was their way of showing the world, come see our country. Can you imagine a fan in Rawalpindi who's waited months to go and say, I want to go and watch a Pakistan game in Rawalpindi in the Champions Trophy. And the two successive washouts in your home game, it must be so disappointing for them.
Well, it's been really disappointing, the rain on both these games at Rawalpindi, but both Pakistan and Bangladesh will be happy, not happy in this way, but at least happy they've gotten off the mark on the points table. They both get that 1 point each in the points table, but they both have finished last, Pakistan, and both have been blown out of the Champions Trophy in the group stage. So we chatted a lot about it, but of course it's going to hurt them very dearly.
I'm just waiting for the memes to come out and say, even the heavens are shedding tears. It's such a cliche. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday with Manish and Michael. And we're saying the one thing, if I'm in the Pakistan camp, the one thing I desperately want to do is to reach out to my fans and say, look, we let you down. We didn't play great cricket, but you know what? We'll put up a show for you today. So if you're in the Pakistan camp or in the Bangladesh camp, you actually wanted to put out a show for the fans. And so I hope the players are disappointed too, as much as the fans are. But yeah, I mean, it's the kind of tournament I don't think any of the players of these two teams would want to remember.
Well, Joyda, there's been pretty much this action in Group A was done, locked and sealed. We saw what India and New Zealand did. So there wasn't so much to play for Pakistan and Bangladesh, besides, of course, pride that Harsha wanted to talk about. He doesn't know what playing for pride is.
I always wondered, every time people say, but we'll play for pride. So what were you playing on every other day? You were playing for what? You were playing for a Kaju Katli? You were playing for... What were you playing for? You always play for pride. I mean, we played at a level, Joy, far, far lower. When you went out to play an inter-college final, man, it was the biggest game in the world.
Exactly.
You played... So when people say, now we will play for pride, I say, okay, at least now. It's an expression I've never got.
Well, we'll have a look at what's going to happen tomorrow, because it's a very, very exciting game. Lots to play for, much more than pride. Like Harsha said, Afghanistan take on Australia in Lahore. Joyda, this is a knockout game for Afghanistan and Australia. That points table, lots happening on that points table in Group B.
Absolutely. And if you're an Afghanistan fan, the one thing that you'll be telling yourself, or even the Afghanistan team, you'd say, remember Wankhede. Because, they were so close, and then that, Glenn Maxwell off 1 foot, 1 leg sort of got them through. And they'd be looking at that match, and I think they must have seen that match 100 times later and wondered, what did we do? How could we not close this match out? So I think it's a great opportunity for them. They're a very good team. I loved the way they played against England. That was, for me, the match of the tournament so far. So they have a lot of pride to play for. And let's be honest, I agree that Australia got across the line against England. But if you look at this, this is not the strongest Australian ODI team you will come across. You have a team whose bowling is not great, somebody you can score runs off. Their batting, they got them through last time, but I think Afghanistan have better spinners, in fact. And so, yeah, this is the perfect storm. It's a perfect opportunity for Afghanistan.
Now, Harsha, when we look at that points table, if Afghanistan lose, they are out. But if Australia lose, they still have that outside chance of still making it into the top 4.
It's interesting. Whoever wins obviously goes through. Correct. Australia win 5 points, they go through. Afghanistan win, they have 4 points, they go through because 2 teams will be on 3. Now, what happens if Afghanistan win? Now, most times, unless it's a really long, close game, most times when you lose, your net run rate goes down. So if Afghanistan win that game, you look at that points table, Australia plus 0.47. So they might go down a little bit, but where are South Africa? England have to come out to play against South Africa, looking like they're a 12th standard team playing against a 2nd standard team. So, and I just saw some rough numbers somewhere. If it's like a 300-run game, if Australia lose by 1 run, South Africa will lose by 80 or 90 runs.
So it's a real
approximately. So my feeling is that South Africa effectively have already qualified.
It's true, yeah.
And Australia-Afghanistan will become a knockout game.
Joyita, we'll talk about Afghanistan. Like you know, I'm rooting for them from a very, very long time ago. Jonathan Trott said that they will want to go to sleep, celebrate their win, but wake up the next morning saying that, okay, it's Australia that we have to focus on.
Exactly, and it's not really that much time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just 24 hours in between to recover. I mean, if you look at it that way, they're going to come out fast, and I don't think it's bad for them because they have a certain amount of momentum going into this. And if they have to hit, this is their opportunity to, as I said, this Australian team looks a beatable team. It's a different matter that they won their first match, but this Australian team doesn't look like the invincible teams we've seen in the past.
We look at Afghanistan squad. Any changes you think, or don't want to touch a winning combination?
I wouldn't imagine. They've played the same team in the earlier game against South Africa as well. It's a team that covers a lot of bases. Luckily for them, Fazalak Farooqi came back. He was looking expensive. He came back, bowled all right. Umar Zai is in the form of his life. They've got a 5th seam option in Gulbuddin Naib. Remember, they're playing on the same ground on which they beat England. So I'm certain it'll be on a different pitch. But they understand their ground. They've got 3 quality spin options. And now, because they've got those 3 quality spin options, and because Umar Zai is bowling so well, they can play the extra batter in Naib. And so their batting is down to 8 with Rashid coming at 9. So either Naib or Nabi come at 7 and 8. Rashid at 9. They've got very good batting. So on paper, it's a very well-balanced side. Now, with Australia, the one thing you always have is a fight.
Yes.
You pick any 11 Aussies from anywhere and put them up, you're in a scrap, you're in a fight. So can they overcome that? My gut feel is the toss will be important. Afghanistan, as we discussed yesterday, love putting up a score and then using their bowlers to sort of strangle the opposition. So let's see. I'm not sure Afghanistan are great chasers, but we'll know tomorrow.
With Australia, on paper, they're not the best side because half their side is missing. But the last game was washed out against South Africa. The game against England, of course, a historic record-winning 351, 352 that they got. Any changes? Do you think they might get in an extra spinner?
That's the only thing. I mean, look at it, one of Dwashers might be walking out of this. You could bring a spinner. I think a spinner is but would they play Sangha? I mean, my point is that I don't think, given the basis of one match, you're going to make changes. See, this is the one big thing about this tournament. Normally in a tournament like this, batters won't change, simply because you're not going to give a batter more. Bowlers might change depending on conditions, okay? But I don't think the conditions are going to be that different that you get a Sangha in, because they trust Maxwell, okay? They're going to get Zampa to bowl 10 overs anyway. So are you going to get Australia bowling 22, 23 overs of spin? I don't see that.
Not just that. If you get a Sangha in, if you look at that squad again, let's put up that squad again. Tanveer Sangha is not a sort of number 7 batter. Yeah. So if he comes in, as of now, they've got Maxwell batting down at Carey, Inglis, Maxwell, 5, 6, 7. One of them will have to go out to accommodate an extra spinner. But look at what they've got anyway. They've got Dwashewis, Johnson, Ellis. 3 quick bowlers. Ellis bowls very well at the back end, so they've got a death bowler there. As the 5th bowler, they've got Maxwell, they've got Short, they've got Head, and they use Manas Labuschagne bowling in deep 46, 48. I think he bowled 50 as well.
And he didn't give away too much.
Not too many, except in the 50th when I think Archer hit him for a couple of sixes. So they've got those 4 bowling options from which to get 10 overs. I think they'll go with exactly that. And if Steve Smith gets in amongst the runs, then you're in trouble anyway. So with Australia, you never write them off.
So your players to watch out for tomorrow, then one from each team.
For Afghanistan, it's an easy one because I feel that Cricbuzz is very vital to them. He hasn't really got them the starts. And see, if you see their ODI record over the last year or so, Cricbuzz has been giving them amazing starts. So I thought between Cricbuzz and Omarzai. So last time I thought Omarzai, this time I'll go with Cricbuzz. And for Australia, I think again, Steve Smith is he's the key to their batting. He's the crux of their batting. If he gets up, going up front, it'll make a huge difference.
I like to see players who've done very well. How do they do the innings after? So I'm going to be watching that.
Josh Inglis.
No. The Josh Inglis, of course, but Ibrahim Zadran, just to see how he comes back from being in that kind of form. So my player for Afghanistan is Ibrahim Zadran. I was going to say Steve Smith as well, but since he said Steve Smith, if I had his WhatsApp number, I would have just sent a message to Travis Head saying, just imagine you're playing India tomorrow. You're my player to watch out for.
He'll see the blue jersey. I think it's the blue color that...
I don't know what it is.
It's something about that blue color and Travis Head. But I think Noor and Rashid, they've not kind of been where they are usually. For Afghanistan, they'd want Noor and Rashid.
Great batting conditions, actually. If you look at Rashid, how often does he go over 60 twice in a row? And Noor Ahmed, who didn't bowl well in the first game, didn't seem like it got his rhythm fully back. And yet he only went at 5 and over against England. But those two, yes, even if the track is gripping a little bit, it'll make a huge difference.
It's an exciting game and we will wait and watch and see what happens. But what we have to do now is answer that question. Did you think about it?
Oh, I didn't.
We forget about it when the food comes, don't we?
No, Joy sort of suggested I might have been on a decent track.
You've got half of it, yeah.
5 wickets in the 100?
No, you've got the 5 wickets, but it's not 5 wickets once, it's 5 wickets twice.
Oh.
5 wickets twice at Lords?
No, not necessarily Lords.
Oh, okay, Hirwani. Hirwani got 8 and 8. I saw that game. I saw the game where Hirwani got 16 for 136.
Shastri's only game as captain.
Correct, 16 for 136. Broke Massey's record, 16 for 137.
Correct.
I was there at that game. Kiran More had 5 stumpings. Not one of them was less than 3 feet.
This is the West Indies, right?
Yeah, the West Indies in Chennai.
Yes.
Also, I don't want to tell my story on someone else's story. The first time I met Vishwanathan Anand.
Oh.
Wow.
Because I was doing commentary for Radio Trinidad, I think.
Wow.
And we only started after a certain time. So I used the morning when I should actually have been in the cricket, but I went early. I went to Vishwanathan Anand's house. I did an interview with him for Sports World and then went to the ground.
He's now his gym buddy. They exercise together.
No, apparently Parthiv saw him in the gym and I didn't see him.
Oh.
And one of my heroes in the gym and I didn't see him. I was too busy running.
That's a very nice subtle way of saying you go to the gym regularly. I'll remember that.
We can see. We can see the drastic change in Joyda. Let's have a look at who got it quickest. Is it a new name or is it Joyda's handle?
That was unnecessary.
But
unnecessary violence late in the evening.
We know what you were going to do because I was going to eat your food.
Abhishek Kallur,
yeah.
Abhishek Kallur, no, that's a new name. Well done, Abhishek. That's a new name. So good to see a new name there. Austin Dakuna has been dominating these last few days. So good to see another name.
16 on debut, correct?
Well done, Abhishek. We hope to see your name coming in more often. It's sadly been, very honestly, when there's Joyda and there's Harsha, I really wish that the game goes to 102 overs if it could go for, because I just really enjoy their company. It's sadly gotten over very quickly, but thank you so much.
I like your company, but 102 overs is way too long.
But thank you so much, Joyda. Thank you, Harsha. Yes. I think I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I don't think I'll be seeing you tomorrow, but hopefully very soon, Joyda. We'll let you go and complete a second workout in the day. If you see your hero, please do notice it.
Today it's only one because he has to work out who's going to bowl the 17th over for KKR in their first game.
And who's going to captain KKR as well?
Who's going to captain KKR, Joy?
Very good question. I wish I knew, but I think we all know.
You know.
I think we all know.
You think it's Venkatesh Iyer?
I think Venkatesh Iyer, yeah.
You all have heard it then from Joyda. He thinks it's Venkatesh Iyer. That's all. He doesn't have any inside information, people. But thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back tomorrow for that very exciting game at 2 p.m. So do join us then. Thank you for watching Cricbuzz Live.